How's it going, guys? Welcome back, my boys. I hope you guys are excited for this one because I have an interesting video for you boys today. You see, I've been going through my last games played and I've done about 5 Smurf games at the moment. I haven't done too many. And to be honest, I actually really enjoy doing Korean games over Smurf games. I don't know what it is. It's just, I don't really get that much fun. Even though the games are not as difficult to play, I definitely feel more reward playing on the Korean games. And I came back to the Korean server. I've played a few games. I've won all my games so far. And this game in particular, something interesting happened. You see, we're versing an Akali mid and a Zyra jungle with the Leona support. And there's a build I've wanted to try for so long. Literally, the past couple of days, I've been watching the Baus. And Baus has been going Hollow Radiance first item. And I thought, you know what? This item, we used to love Hollow Radiance. It was such a good item. And then they nerfed it because it used to give 600 flat health, and now it only gives around 400. It's not that much. And we eventually pushed it back into the build. It became a late game item, and then we stopped building it entirely because it didn't function well as a split bush item. Because what it was doing is it was overkilling the camps. Not the camps, sorry. It was overkilling the waves. So you would drop maiden top, and it would kill the waves so quick that she wouldn't be able to get ghouls, and then her push would be so much weaker. But now that I've seen him do all these Hollow Radiance rush, I've been wanting to try it. And I thought this is the perfect game for it. Reversing AP mid, AP jungle, AP support. And it's a Corki. So I think there is a little bit of magic damage somewhere. So you know what? We're going to rush it, right? So I played this game earlier today and I really wanted to showcase it because it's such a funny way to play the game. And you're going to notice such a nice jungle clear for one. Eventually, you can leave your ghouls doing whatever you want. It's so easy to farm. So here we start wolves. Always start wolves on the bottom team. We know Zyra started topside, so we can see her there. Zyra's clear is so quick, by the way. Like, can I just say, she's already finished her wolf camp there, her raptor camp. So absolutely bonkers. I actually myself did a very quick clear here. So I actually crossed mid at 228 on the nose. That is absolutely the fastest you're going to get, especially with my blue dying before I even got to the raptor camp. So that is extremely quick. Now, you're going to notice the way we do this camp here. It's actually going to be in perfect position for me to be able to rotate straight to her blue buff. So I thought, you know what? Whenever you verse a farm jungle like this, there's 2 ways you can play it. You can't match its full clear. So you can't go straight for your 6 camp. You have to interrupt their gank or interrupt their clear. So you can see in this scenario, I actually got there in time. And I could smite her blue away. Now, that's an interesting. Now, you got to take this knowledge. You got to use it in the future for your next set of games. Know that when you verse Zyra, you will be able to get there for her blue buff to steal it. So keep that in mind for whenever you play this matchup. You can make it in time. Now you can see I'm actually a higher level than her now because I've cleared 6 camps. She's only cleared 5. Or actually 4. She hasn't done her gromp yet. So she's going to go for the bottom scuttle. We're going to run for the top scuttle here. We're not going to contest the bottom one because it's pretty much gone. And this early game is won. We've actually won this game off. Right here and there, it's done. All we have to do is stay ahead and stay on top of where the Zyra is going to go. So that's why I actually really like this kind of play style with the invade, because if you can get it off, this is exactly what happens. You win the early game automatically. So from here, you'd recall on the spot, or you go for her Krugs. In this scenario, because Zyra clears so quickly, I'm going to go for her Krugs, because I know that her Krugs are going to respawn very, very soon, and we can get that lead advantage on her. If my bot lane didn't die here, we're laughing. This is a perfect scenario because we've got the play. I probably, if she didn't show bot, I probably would have recalled. But as you can see, this is ridiculously quick. Absolutely ridiculously quick. So her Krug spawn, we're going to take this. We're going to smite it, get it done as soon as possible. You can see she's recalling now, so we're on a timer. So I'm going to get as much as I can. We're in vision now that thing has seen us. So what we're going to do is we're going to run to the Raptors. We're going to start the Raptors. We're going to hold our W because if she comes through this region here, I want W off this section so she can't commit to it. And if she comes through this side, we can W this entrance. Exactly like that. Now, unfortunately, she flashes. I'm blown away that she actually gets away with this because the problem is the support comes. The support rotation is where this went bad. I probably could have seen that coming, but in reality, there's just no way I would have expected that. And I didn't have a ward up to be able to put in that bush. Maybe I should have held my ward instead of putting it in that bush over there. Maybe I should have put it over there in that tri-bush. But as you can see from the map, look at these pings going out. I'm saying, guys, she's coming for my camp. We know she's coming for this camp. So everybody come, everybody come. She's either here or she's up there. And what do you know? She's right there. For some reason, their mid lane's here. Now, in High-Elo Korea, it's a different game, right? It's a very different game in High-Elo Korea. You can see how many people are running around with her. She's running around with people all the time. In low elo brackets, this would never happen. You might get the Zyra invading, but you'll never get so many people following up and following her and helping her out. So this playstyle, it might not directly look replicatable for you. I can guarantee you, in your games, if you can get a similar condition to this, the enemy jungle's not going to get as much help as she's getting. And that's basically the bottom line for this, is you can do this in your games. And if anything, it might be better off. Yeah, it might work better in your games, but it's just harder to replicate because it's a very hard play style to make work. You really got to know your shit. You got to know your clears. You got to know your timings. Here, I'm just going to rush it. I'm going to get one and get out. I don't actually want to commit to this. I'm okay with only getting one here. And then we just run. We're not going to commit. But then I saw how much damage I was doing. You notice, I kind of want you to get a feel for how the play is coming out. I'm actually going to pause it here. Just get a feel from this position right here. You can see the Zyra. She's taking a bunch. Pantheon's low. Most important thing is I've got reset of ghouls coming up because I'm taking the Grubs camp. This, in my head, I'm thinking, we actually win this. Even on 1v2, I win this. So I'm just going to re-engage on the camp here. Just keep my ghouls coming. If he comes back, I'm going to chuck another E out, and I'm just going to keep Eing him over there. Akali shows her face. That's fine. I'm just going to keep going on the camp until I can actually get a position on the Akali, and then I'll jump on Akali. As you can see, we get a nice kill on Akali, transition straight onto the Pantheon. And if you haven't checked already, I'm actually running Comet this game. I ran Comet because I didn't actually realize that I could actually run this tank build. Would I do it again? Maybe not. The Comet didn't do that much. I think it did about 500 total damage to me this game. But in reality, it's actually not that bad. The damage scaling on Comet is not as high as you think it is. It's 0.1 of your AD. That's not a lot. That's a tiny amount. If you have a BF, if you have a, let's say a Black Cleaver, you're only getting 4 extra damage from that item onto your Comet. That's nothing. It's fucking terrible. So feel free to run Comet if you're not running a damage build. It is absolutely fine. Comet actually scales better off running items like Black Cleaver, like Leandries, like those, rather than running anything to actually improve its scaling, because its base scaling is so high on its own that you actually do more damage by throwing more Comets and increasing the base damage on the item. So here, Zyra's actually running out my Raptors. I want to protect my Raptors, so I'm going to run out my Raptors here. But unfortunately, as I was saying before, High-Elo Korea, for some reason, you can get away with things you really shouldn't be allowed to get away with. They've just got more, I don't know, it just feels like their support's just more useful than mine right now. And I made a mistake with trying to force my red. Unfortunately, trying to force my red there, at least trying to protect my Raptors, is just not working. And bad junglers can get rewarded just because you've got a better team. And right here, their support is carrying him hard. Otherwise, he wouldn't have any of the opportunities he's got. Now, we're going to sack our bot side jungle because I'm not going to risk it. I'm 90% sure that red buff is gone. So I'm not going to risk it. Instead, I'm going to play top side. So in this game, you can see we've actually got a losing bot. My bot lane is losing. My mid lane is not very useful. So we've only got one choice. We're going to play top side. We literally have to take what we've got. We've got to assess who's our most reliable champion to carry this game with. For me, this game, even though the Garen's not doing particularly well, it is Garen. So we're going to focus on getting Garen ahead. So I'm actually expecting them to be doing the dragon right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run into their jungle. I'm going to look for buffs to get, look for camps to take, or simply to remove markers. Because if I remove the red buff marker, then I know when it's going to spawn next. I didn't feel very confident walking up too far here. So that's why you're not seeing me go in. It's just until I saw the Zyra, that's when I'm happy to actually run into his jungle a little bit. And as you can see, my focus is on the Pantheon. Now, I don't have Sweeper. I should have Sweeper right now, and I don't. So a little mistake on my end. You'll notice my spells, I'm actually maxing my E. If you ever watch a video of me and you've seen me max my E, I can tell you it's not because it's optimal. The reason I max my E is because my ADHD makes it so that I forget what I'm doing half the time. The actual best way of doing it in any circumstance is Q to 3, E to 5. That's how you want to do it. Every single time, Q3, E5. The reason we do it that way is because until you're level 6, you need help getting ghouls. Lowering your Q cooldown helps you get ghouls. So that's the actual goal of the Q max to 3. Once you hit 6 though, you don't need that help anymore. So we can afford to put points into our E, which is how we redirect ghouls. That's how we actually deal damage, is by using our E. So we lower that cooldown, we increase the base damage, and we basically put our ghouls to use in the mid game, because that's how you play your mid game fights. You use your ghouls. Now look how aggressive they are. Oh my god, like they're so aggressive the way they played. And Zyra, like I said, bad junglers can get through and do things they shouldn't be able to do. How they haven't taken Dragon yet is mind-blowing. I don't know what they're doing. They really should have taken Dragon by now. And we're just going to recall on the spot. I'm not going to overstay here. I've got my Holo Radiance. That boosts my clear completely. There was actually an argument for taking your recalling after the Raptors there, but I don't think it's fine. And here is where I kind of made that decision. Let's test out Tank Yorick. Let's run all these tank items. So I'm going to go straight for Merc Boot second. And then judging by how many people are strong on their team, this is a Kainic. This is a Kainic game. Straight tank. Straight tank. Now, when you run something like Comet, you don't have to build AD. The interesting thing about Comet is it actually adds a lot of damage onto you. But because you don't have the adaptive force, like in Conqueror, you're not punished for building AP items. So there's actually a nice build that you can run with Comet, which is basically Holo Radiance into Liandry's. You can do it. If you want to do it, you can do it. Is it good? I probably wouldn't say so, but if you're running Comet versus Conqueror, you can get away with this. And that's what I really like about it. I can play the team fight, and I can build these items that are boosting my raw damage numbers. And that's how Liandry's works. Liandry's actually scales off your ability to get higher levels, get more gold, get more experience. Because Yorick scales ridiculously hard once you hit around about level 13, level 12. His ghouls start ramping up their AD so hard that it becomes insane. We're going to look for a early tier 1 tower here. I wanted to get the feats, so that's why I'm focusing on this. I'm trying to get this camp so I can get ghouls off it. And look how easy it is to kill. You don't even have to worry about hitting all of them with your E because they all died of the AoE burst. And we're just going to gun down this tower. We got all 6 grubs, so this should be pretty free and easy. And because I got that Holo Radiance, I wave clear so quick. Now, I want you to watch my damage output. Just take a look at my damage output. Notice I don't have any AD. Now, this is a level 7 Zyra. I haven't actually thrown any ghouls at her yet. Maiden still does great damage. You can wave clear so easy. Notice I smited that. Notice the way I smited this camp. I want you to keep an eye on here. See how I smited this camp? This creep? The reason I smited that is because I didn't want these ghouls to attack it. If these ghouls attack that minion, they run down and follow the Pantheon in the lane. I wanted them to follow me left to follow into the Zyra. So that's why I did it that way. And then you can see there's a Pantheon following me. I'm going to focus on the Pantheon. Look at my damage. The damage is there. Even though I don't have AD, the damage is there. This, if I hit my E here, it would have been nice. Missed my E, unfortunately. And would I have killed some of them if I had AD? Probably. But at the end of the day, this turned into a 3v5. My mid's still mid. My AD's still bot. The AD, the lack of actual damage in my build, is the reason I didn't get 1 kill. But I don't think it's actually gated the reason that happened. I think if I played that better, I would have got a double kill there. Just saying, I think I would have got a double kill there. I probably could have just aimed the Zyra, to be honest, when the Pantheon came instead of switching to him. And I reckon it would have been fine. I would have hit her with the E, W'd her, and still ran away from the Pantheon. With this much health, no one's a threat to me. So, as you saw, I was running Comet. Nice thing about Comet is you can run Axiom Arcanist. Now, Axiom Arcanist, it's a rune that is really, it's undervalued. And it's one that if you're going to take it, you need to not look at the numbers. Because Axiom Arcanist has a very nice interaction with Yorick's kit that the numbers won't show you. So, Axiom Arcanist increases your ultimate's damage by 14%. Now, that applies on both your Maiden's attacks, but also the percent health damage that she deals when you attack the same target as her. The interesting thing about that is your Maiden's percent health damage has a cap against monsters. So, if my Maiden was out right now and she was hitting this dragon, when I hit her as well, it actually has a maximum number it can deal. It's only around about 60, around 50 to 60. It can't do a lot. Can't do a lot at all. But Axiom Arcanist increases that minimum. It actually makes it an extra 15 or so. So So it actually matters quite a lot. It's surprising. But when you take things like Baron, instead of dealing 60 damage per attack, you're actually dealing around about 80 to 90 bonus magic damage. And it actually works with Liandry's as well. Liandry's increases that base minimum as well. So it's funny, by building these items that don't seem like they interact very well with Yorick kit, it actually increases your damage in ways that you don't realize. So Liandry's second item helps improve your base damage. But not only that, so does Shojin. Shojin and Liandry's both increase spell damage. So if I think of your Axiom Arcanist with Shojin, with Liandry's, you can have upwards of plus 25% spell damage at any point in time. That's increasing your percent health damage every time you deal that damage, that minimum threshold, by 25%. So it's actually, I actually think there is a build here that you could make work. In terms of snowballing though, I think the Hollow might be just a tiny bit too slow. You might need something like a Shojin first into Hollow, and then you could potentially make it work. But you see, you overkill the camps. That's the other problem with this, is that you overkill the camps. You kind of need to find a way to make the jungle clearing work a bit better. I need to optimize it. Like, stay tuned, because I'll find a way to make this work. I really, really like Hollow, and I've liked it for a long time. I find it so much fun to run. But we're going to go Kanik second anyway, just because they have so much magic damage. My team is so far ahead as well. This is a perfect game for me to just go Kanik and just to be a upfront tank. And you can see, look how easy it is to clear the jungle. Like my ghouls just do so much damage. And then the burn from the tick hits that, then hits that. And all of a sudden these chain reactions are going off and I'm clearing the whole camp. Even though it didn't kill the whole camp, you can see the icon's still there. But I don't know. It's so much fun. There's so many ways to play this champion that are just so much fun that I wish were a little better. But it makes it more fun. Even if you lose, building something like Hollowed, you lose the game, but you're still like, you know what, I had a fun game. Or that's what Comet does for me most of all, I think, is you run Comet and you lose the game, but at least you saw some comets going off globally. Like, it's kind of funny. So I would probably go Shojin second into Liandry's third. We don't have that issue with Adaptive Force, like I said, but you still have plenty of damage. You're still really, really tanky. You're still really, really durable. It just comes down to whether or not it's better than any other bruiser item. I mean, it's competing in slot with something like Stridebreaker. I mean, is Stridebreaker better? Probably. Yeah, I won't lie, it probably is. Your jungle clear is much faster with Stridebreaker because the Hollow actually isn't doing anything for you. Majority of the time, you're overkilling these camps anyway. So Stridebreaker, you would have just popped the active, auto Q, run away, and it would have cleared the whole camp. The main benefit you get out of it is a late game maiden split, plus your ability to actually be a bit more tanky to magic damage. But I wonder if that's the logic. Maybe you're better off delaying the Hollow to second or third item. Maybe Stridebreaker first into Hollowed, possibly. There's no CDR with that build, unfortunately, though. Hollow gives 10, which is nice. That's pretty decent. 10 ability haste is nice. With this build, I think I have I think I have Precision secondary with this setup. And we're really tanky. Like I said, we are so tanky. Oh, that's so satisfying, dude. And just all these comets going out is just, oh gosh, so satisfying. Unfortunately, Axiom Arcanist is still bugged. It doesn't work on Yorick while the Maiden's out. Otherwise, I would have so much of a lower cooldown on Maiden in majority of these fights. Gonna get a nice little snipe on this Pantheon soon. See, it does make you clear. It does make your what's it called, faster. Oh, that was spicy. We're gonna go straight for the Raptors and the red buff. At this point in time, this is kind of where you benefit the most from having Hollow, is when you don't have ghouls out. Because look how quick this thing actually kills. Look how quickly it killed this whole camp. But like I said, Stridebreaker, you probably would have done the exact same thing. So look, there might be an argument of Stridebreaker into Hollowed, possibly, or Stridebreaker into, or maybe Shojin into Hollowed or something like that. But just get that damage out early. But we're so far ahead. Like, I could just run into the enemy team right now and I do so much damage and I'd be able to tank so much damage. I really like this setup. It's just, I think you just got to find a way to actually make it work properly. But we're huge. Like, I just brute force, and they just surrendered. So I didn't get to try it as much as I want to try it out. But stay tuned, because there's going to be more videos of this style coming out. I want to try Hollow Radiance a little bit more, and I want to try Strybreaker a little bit more. So thanks for watching, boys. I will catch you in the next video. I'll see you guys all later.